I reviewed the Sonicake rock bar recently, and a few of you reached out asking whether I could check out their metal version of the same thing, the Black Hammer, and here it is. So let's have a look at some of the features very quickly, and then we'll have a listen, most importantly, to some of the tones. Essentially, we have a high gain amp section in here with no speaker emulation, so that's the difference between the Black Hammer and the rock bar. There is, however, 3-band EQ, volume, noise gate, and a gain control, as well as a dedicated boost function so that you can stack gain stages. And much like the rock bar, we've got Sonicake's excellent chorus and their analog delay, which I really, really like. Now, if you're used to all the features on the rock bar, this is a pretty easy fix, but this one specifically I would use as a replacement for the preamp section of a backline amp. For example, you get to a gig and you see there's like a Marshall JCM 900, you know, one of the most common backline amps, and you don't want to use the front end. You can chuck this straight into the effects return and you've got your high gain amp sound, which is great for hard rock and metal. You've got a boost, and then you've got, you know, two of the most common effects that you're going to need for a gig: chorus and delay. Let's have a listen to some sounds. Okay, let's have a listen to some of the basic amp tones available, and then we'll look at the boost and the effects. I'm just going to loop a riff. I'm using my Fractal AX8. I'm only using the looper section in that. I've looped a riff. We'll run it into the Sonicake and then into the effects return of a Marshall DSL-50, into a load and an IR that I made. So this is pretty much the way I would use this pedal live, as the replacement for a preamp, and, you know, having preamp and effects available at your feet in such a small unit is really handy. And I can imagine using this in a situation where, you know, I've only got a backline amp like a DSL or, you know, a JCM 900 or a dual rectifier or something like that. So this would be a really handy solution to be able to basically just take your tones, plug it in, make it loud, and play a rock or a metal gig. So let's loop the riff. I've started with all the EQ off and the gain, where is it? At about 9 o'clock. Let's dial some tones. as you can hear there, it's kind of got a boogie sort of flavor with the mids down low with loads and loads of bass, which is pretty impressive. And then as you crank the mids, it gives you more of the Marshall sort of thing. I'll turn the delay on now, and as you can hear, I kind of set the chorus up there almost as a doubling effect. So I'll put some delay on, I'll turn the boost on and a little bit of chorus, and I'll play some lead guitar. And I think it works pretty good for a lead sound that's sort of really wide sounding, even though we're only playing in mono. I know that doesn't make sense, but it's going to add that sort of dimensional aspect to it that I like when I'm playing lead guitar. Much prefer it for lead tones, actually. That's a really happening kind of lead tone. I could happily record with that or play with it live. And you can hear that there's quite a big volume boost when you kick in the chorus, so you can kind of use the chorus as a, I guess, a lead boost if you're playing in a band situation. And much like its cousin, the rock bar, if you don't like the amp tones, I think the delay tone, the chorus, and the boost work great on their own as standalone effects, and it hardly takes up any space on your pedal board, so you can get a great 3-in-1 if you just want to use it as an effects-only device. I love the way Sonicake have voiced their analog delay, and I believe you can actually get that in a standalone pedal, and it's super cheap and it's super worth checking out. I really want to get one. So working as a preamp, considering the price, again, Sonicake have kind of hit a winner, I think. You can chuck this into your gig bag and you know you're pretty much sorted for any gig where there's going to be a backline amp. The only thing that I wish it had was speaker emulation built in. That would make it even more foolproof, but otherwise, like I said earlier in the demo, you know, if you're not into the high gain thing, just get it for the boost, the chorus, and the delay. I think they're really great effects on their own. They're voiced really nicely, and it takes up almost no space on your pedal board, so you can just switch them in and out, kind of as a 3-in-1. If you enjoyed the review, please consider hitting the subscribe button. I've got loads and loads more content coming your way, and yeah, until then, I'll see you guys around.